See. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of HoGaLe's. Yes. Brilliant. And so thank you, everyone. So we might be having a slight technical thing with your video, Lena, but don't worry too much. Sometimes it's freezing a little bit, but I think we'll be okay. Can you hear us just fine?
Okay. Good. We're ready to go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of you are.
Brilliant connection, I have to say.
Oh well, but we'll manage. You know, sometimes
We'll manage.
it's live TV. So there's already quite a lot of you in the chat already. And honestly, the what I find with this show, the chat in of itself is worth watching. Because there's so much going on in there. But we have an action-packed show for you this evening, as you can well imagine.
The world has turned since we saw you last week.
So much has happened. So the way I'm gonna structure the show today, and I've mentioned this to the ladies, we're going to cover a bit of international news, just what's going on in general, because many of my clients and subscribers actually say that they actually like to watch to see what our overview is of the general news as well. So there'll be that. Then we will go into an international question, which is going to involve Argentina, which is very important to talk about. And then it's going to be Mark Meadows' question coming in from Lena, and then your questions about Mar-a-Lago, of course. I mean, which is pretty much, you know, apart from many other things, I mean, this is the wild boar roasting over the fire. It's just extraordinary, isn't it? So I'm going to dive in. Yeah. So I'll try and get through this as quickly as I can without rushing too much. And of course, the ladies will contribute their insights and stuff as I go through, because a lot has happened. All right. So news over the week. So just to give you some updates. So drought has been declared in England. Much of England is now in drought. We've been having, this is one of our dry summers for 50 years. Yeah. And for Europe overall, we're looking at one of our driest summers for 500 years.
Ouch.
Yeah, this is extraordinary stuff. And do you remember I was saying Mars with the astrological weather? Mars is what? Heat, yeah? Uranus is sudden shocks and surprises, but electrical, sudden things, sparks flying. And Rahu just expands all of that, so you see that. So, of course, fire and gas explosions happening everywhere. I don't know about what's going on domestically for you, but we've had about at least no, not 5, that's too much. About 3 houses have exploded in England because of gas explosions, at least 3, like whole streets just being torn down. There was the conflict between Gaza and Israel, which is sort of in a ceasefire, but still sort of ongoing. That blew up. 64% of Britons want inflation tackled. So, of course, we know we've got huge inflation issues. But to put it to perspective, 15 million Britons will likely face fuel poverty from October this year.
That's right.
Can you imagine? 15 million. Yeah. That is huge. Our fuel bills in the UK have gone up by 204%.
It's just disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting. But only 4% in France, and that was enough for them to basically begin the process to renationalize EDF Energy. Yeah, I thought Lena would like that one. Yeah. It's gone up by 4%, and they're like, right, we're going to renationalize 204% in the UK. UK inflation is due to hit 13.5% by the end of the year. Yeah, that's a biggie. Yeah, but wait until we talk about Argentina. Going to Europe. Most of Europe, of course, burning up. We've had all of the fires and all that stuff. Remember I said that Uranus combination and everything. Spain is running out of water for crops. And the farmers are being told to stop growing thirsty exotic fruits like mangoes and avocados. Yeah, because they need a lot. So basically, Spain is like Tinder dry. Spain is the main food producer for all of Europe, by the way.
Ah.
And Mars sidereally has gone into the sign of Taurus on the 10th of August. And Taurus is all about food, securities, money, stuff like that. So you can imagine. The Rhine has only 40% clear, 40 centimeter clearance in some places for boats. They can't get enough cargo down. So it's taking 4 boats instead of 1. Can you believe this? What else? France cities have run out of water. We also had the situation, Olivia Newton-John passed away.
Oh, bless. Olivia.
The first heartbroken. Do you remember all of that? You know?
Yeah, totally.
Not my best singing voice. Also, as well, a really terrible one. This has actually happened recently. Did you hear about Salman Rushdie today?
Yes.
So Salman Rushdie was viciously attacked, knife attack, while he was actually at a literary event in the USA where he was talking about freedom. But because of his book, The Satanic Verses, the Ayatollah of Iran basically put a fatwa out on him in the 80s.
It was decades ago.
Yeah, and he thought he was safe, and he wasn't. And he even may potentially even lose an eye. He's had lacerations to his neck and
he's
his
75.
arm.
Yeah.
Can you believe? Absolutely astonishing. I think that's, but positive news, which has been covered by a lot of people already, I think. But of course, Biden's bills and the Democrats obviously were having a good week. So there is some kind of light coming in amidst all of the madness. Ladies, your thoughts on that before we go to the first question? On just what the topics that I spoke about, if you want to.
I'm very interested in, as you predicted, France's reaction to these huge bills. And we were all sold the idea in the 80s with Reagan and Thatcher, privatize energy and your bills will be competitive and go down. It doesn't work. This is peak capitalism. Greed rules everything. And those companies are making a fortune.
Yeah, they
so
really are.
I hope the Brits do boycott.
Well, we'll have to see. I think the bills are going to go up again in October, and then they go up.
Then winter starts.
Yeah, can you believe? And they go up again in January, and they're saying it could reach as much as £5,000 a year for Brits. Yeah,
which is about $10,000.
Yeah,
just roughly.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, isn't it? It's absolutely. So we've got people here. Lady G, do you want to add anything to some of the things I've mentioned, or are you happy for us to get cracking?
Nope, I'm ready to go.
All right, so here we are. We're starting off with the show proper. So look how much is just happening in the world. So, sorry, go on, Lena. Were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. So we are going to talk about Argentina. Yeah, as you know, I always like to have an international question. Let me just click off that for a second. So just to put this in context, and this is mind-boggling.
I'm intrigued.
Mind-boggling. So remember, Mars has just gone into Taurus, which deals with food, assets, wealth, money, security, all of that stuff. And he's the planet of war. So Argentina inflation situation, that's what I put in my notes. So Argentina's central bank has hiked its interest rate to 69.5%.
That's a no. That's a no in anybody's economic language.
Yeah. And your reactions, ladies, were priceless. I have to say it again, 69.5%. to try and contain soaring inflation. Inflation has hit a 20-year high of over 70% in Argentina. 70% inflation. I mean, this is astonishing. Anyway.
Yes.
So in July, a guy called Martin Guzman resigned as the finance minister after 2.5 years in the role. The next one, Silvina Batakis, lasted a month in the post.
I'm not surprised.
Can you imagine? It's just like he probably just, or he or she went in there and was just like, oh my God. Yeah. So Argentina has just avoided defaulting on a 44 billion loan on the International Monetary Fund. However, they're saying the impact of the measures are causing concern in the country. They're also worried inflation could hit 90% in Argentina very soon.
Look,
So
these numbers are just off the charts.
it's astonishing. I mean, it's like you need monopoly money just to buy a loaf of bread at this rate. Do you know what I mean? The wheelbarrows and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So the question is, will Argentina get its inflation crisis under control and be saved? Yeah, that's the question.
Well, it better, because I'm going there next year.
Are
It's got
you?
to get its act together.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Well, look, Lena, you're going to be very popular, I'm sure. Take American dollars.
Yeah, I always keep $100 American in my sock, because you can get out of any situation in most countries with a bit of cash.
My goodness. I mean, it could be in quite a situation, couldn't it, by the time that
it's been here before. Oh, Ten of Pentacles, the person.
Let's see here. Argentina. So a lot of talking on my point, but there we have to cover a lot of ground. So much is happening in the world. Okay. Argentina.
Will I get cracking here?
Go for it.
Because the cards are crystal clear.
Oh, really?
Pentacles, Pentacles, Pentacles. Right. Okay. The legacy. This goes back. This is generations in the making. Right. An immense burden, obviously, goes without saying. The King of Pentacles, which I think is the root of this with the legacy card, it's got a hugely disproportionate, small, wealthy population, and then everyone else.
Yeah.
So this is unsustainable as it goes. They've got to change direction here with the Chariot. The Chariot is often about getting your reins in line, and it's been allowed to spin to this extent. It's a country that's wealthy in natural resources. Why hasn't it got money? Because of theft,
corruption,
of the capitalist classes. It's quite blatant. It's very misty how they're going to get out of it, but I think it'll have to be a radical act. But the people, I think, will have their say and rise up in some way. They're going to have to. I'll just add this before I let you go. This is the end game, I think, for conventional capitalism everywhere. They're going to have to reprivatize things too, because this is the extension of this privatization neoliberal economic model, which has failed the world. We've got young people going backwards for the first time everywhere. That's more than an indicator. It's saying it doesn't work. It is not sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. Lady G, what would you like to add?
Yeah, what I got is that in the center of everything is judgment. The foundation is looking for some justice. Above it, we have trying to hold on to resources.
Yeah.
Going into it, the Hangman has become turned over. So hopefully they're going to start writing things, but there's a whole lot of stuff they're going to have to deal with. Just endless stuff up in the air. The double-edged sword, they're going to have to work with somebody else with this. And so the short term, they're looking for offers. They're looking for help out there.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really difficult for them. I've got similar cards as well, and it's quite interesting. I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the chat, and already people going wild in the chat. They're speculating about spaces underneath Ivana Trump's grave.
Yes, I know. We might get to that.
So we will get there, folks. Don't worry. But you know, it's also good for us to get a perspective as well, isn't it, of what else is going on in the world. I mean, we've been dealing with high inflation in the West, but my goodness, 70% and upwards is just astonishing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely astonishing. So my cards here, I've got the Four of Swords. So in many ways, look, this is just Argentina really kind of flat out on its back in battle, or wounded after battle. In many ways, I think this is like describing the government. They're just like, oh my goodness, it's so out of control. That's probably even higher than Turkey. And I think Turkey has been having a really tough time. I don't know what their situation is now. In the obstacle position, I get here the Knight of Wands. So, well, this is the lack of progress, isn't it? The lack of progress. But also as well, this is maybe action by the banks to basically really increase interest rates to that level to show how wildly out of control the inflation has got. I was reading in the article that they've increased the interest rates 8 times in the last year, something like that.
Yes.
It's just astonishing. But look who turns up. We have the High Priestess. So there's machinations behind the scenes, all of that stuff. I think this is very much talking about corruption as well, unfortunately, when you look at it in this instance. Also as well, think of that person who rushed in to take the job and then had revealed to them the sheer complexities of it all. No wonder they only lasted for a month. They might be looking for offers and options. I think they're hoping for a handout potentially. They might need a handout, you know, to kind of by the end of the year. I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. And legal matters need to happen here. They need to make legal changes to their structures, everything. They've got to basically get that sword of truth and get everything sorted out, because otherwise they'll just collapse, won't they, as a nation? Interessante. Anything else to add to that, ladies, before we get into the big beast in the news?
Oh, no, let's go beast hunting.
All right, so this question has come in from, so we're going to do, Lena, we're going to do your question. And you've got a Mark Meadows one. So would you like to elaborate on that for us?
Yes. Well, I woke up yesterday morning, I think it was, thinking about Mark Meadows. Ooh, talk about brain invasion. So I thought, you know, I'm not a morning person. So coming to consciousness with Mark Meadows, I thought, why haven't we heard his name in all these, you know, seizing of phones, everything? He was the chief of staff. Mark Meadows. So let's have a look at why Mark Meadows filters my aging brain.
No problem. So what would you like us to ask?
Okay. Will he what's the phrase, you know, get his comeuppance, so to speak? What's happening next? Let's keep it open and see what the cards say.
Okay.
What's the next development for Mark Meadows?
Absolutely. And we'll also see what Shakespeare has to say about Meadows as well. All right. For this, I'm changing to my black and white deck, you know, particularly when I'm dealing with slightly dodgy characters.
Mark Meadows.
Mark Meadows. He's certainly gone very quiet, which is one of the most intelligent things to do when you're in a lot of trouble, potentially. You just keep stum. Something, of course, Duck L'Orange has never learned.
No.
Yet he just can't help himself.
No. Mark Meadows.
What's the energy? What's next in store for Mark Meadows? And thank you for joining us, everyone. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
We've just tipped over into just over 1,000 of you here. Thank you so much. And there was a donation that came in earlier as well. Sorry, I missed the name. Forgive me. What's going on with him? Even as I try and tune in, he's like the Slytherin.
Yes.
So he's like, I'm being shown an image of an eel. You know when eels go under the rocks?
Yes.
And it's like he's tasting the currents and wondering which way to go. Slytherin.
I think he's, well, slippery is good. It's a good
Very
thing.
slippery. Meadows. What's going on with Mark Meadows? Who's
Lady
ready
G?
to go? Or Lady G, yeah, you ready to go?
Yeah. The foundation is, he's got those that rally around the MAGA crowd. And of course, at the center of it all, we have, I think this is Rebecca Mercer, those types still supporting for, the long-term thing that he's been involved with. But going into it, it looks like we have some that are going to be speaking out about the buying and selling of things that have happened. Oh, you too. Somebody's going to come forward and start talking because judgment is coming in. And so with the judgment, he's having to, feel beleaguered. Poor little Mark Meadows. Then we have going forward, because all the stuff that's going forward with 45, little Donnie Dark, as far as his strength going, no, he's losing the strength. This is coming back on him, and so wah wah wah. It's good for him.
Oh, let's get the official sound effect. Let's get the official one, which is
brilliant. I love it. It's too cute. I'll just jump in here.
Okay, so go for it, Lena.
Yeah. This is the card. We all know there's filthy money behind all of this, but beyond that, it's the legacy card. It's the legacy that he will carry forward is actually quite prophetic in some way, and I can't imagine what that is, because he's such a bland person. It's a bit mystifying. They're very confused how to handle him. At what point do they pull the rug out from underneath Mark Meadows? He has allies still, which I'm surprised about,
Wow.
but he still does. But the allies are about to turn. I thought at some point before now he would turn, or he is talking, and perhaps he is, but someone else pushed him over the line or made it so obvious he had no choice. There was definitely someone else involved there, and we will hear some surprise news. So let's hope that's this week's good news.
Indeed.
So, excuse me a minute. I'm going to run back. People are hearing the traffic going by here, and we have. Do you hear that?
Oh, okay, coming in.
Wow.
How
Rain
spectacular.
is coming in. We are having the big thunder, so I'm going to go close these back doors real quick.
Yeah.
And I'll be right back.
Sure, no problem. I'll do the read. I mean, the cards I've got, Lena. My goodness. All right. So, and I love this deck, and it's such a vivid deck. It does sometimes get a bit of glare, but anyway, here we are. Yeah. So Mark Meadows, what do we have? 3 of Swords, straight up. I think he is feeling all sorts of emotions. All sorts of emotions. I mean, this card is obviously often associated with what? Betrayals, heartbreak, all of these kind of things. But in some ways as well, for me, this card really symbolizes his role in everything. Everything that he's been up to, particularly for me, this is almost the betrayal of America as well. So
yes.
Yeah, when I looked at Mark Meadows' chart, he's because I did a deep dive on him. He's a very conflicted man, very conflicted. when we look here, the next card here, so that was the Three of Swords, in case anyone's just doing it on audio. Then we get the Eight of Swords.
Ooh, yeah.
So of course, feel it,
running out of options.
Absolutely, running out of options, feeling hemmed in, recognizing that, you know, the proverbial is hitting the fan. And of course, this is two swords back to back, and the swords, of course, deal with the air element of air and the mind and everything like that. Let me just quickly acknowledge. Thank you, Kathleen, for your donation. And she's saying here, really interested in finding out who collaborated with the Yeti to identify, remove, and replace the things to Mar-a-Lago. As we all know, the Yeti doesn't read. Well, he reads some things. He does read some things, and thank you.
Yeah, but not much. I think that's a real question, you know, because he's not across international protocols of, you know, any of this stuff or anything. So someone had to, I think, actually select the materials for him, say you need this for blackmail. Even he's adult, let's face it. So
very interesting. And I was talking with a client the other day, and we were talking about Duc L'Orange, and I had a download in the middle of why he may even have this stuff in the first place, but I'll save it to the end. And we'll also do, I cast a chart for the day that the FBI went into Mar-a-Lago, and it's fascinating where the planets were at that time. So I'll save that.
The Lion's Gate.
Indeed.
I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Oh, it's really interesting, particularly where the moon was as well. So if we look here, look, an abuse of power, surprise, surprise. So we see here, what is he feeling? What, a bit guilty and a bit trapped because of his past abuse of power? Could there be a conscience? Either way, this guy is looking for Mr. Meadows is looking for a way out of this. Look at this. We've got the Three of Wands waiting for the ship to come in because he knows.
And take him to the Caymans. Yeah.
Absolutely. He might even be looking for a little bit of an escape. And if he is working hard on it. Look at that. Eight of Pentacles. So he is clinging and clanging and clonking in the background, working his little tush off to try and find a way for him to get out of this. So it's very interesting. So I think he's feeling very conflicted.
Yes.
And it's not a straightforward, not that any of us feel sorry for him, but I think he's feeling very conflicted. He's smart enough to know how terrible the situation is. And thank you, Christopher, for your donation. Someone's saying here it's raining cats and dogs here in Tuscan. Can you send some of it to us? We're is it Tux? Is that how do I say that? Tucson or Tucson? Sorry, forgive me, folks. I'm British. Yeah. And how did you know?
Someone else just said Marjorie Taylor Greene has filed paperwork to impeach Garland. She's onto it, isn't she? The bastion of American democracy at work, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You know what? I was thinking about
like Marjorie Trader Green.
Trader Green. That's great.
Terrible. I mean, for me, from now on, I'm just going to call her the Dingo. That's what she is.
Well, I have a soft spot for dingoes.
Oh, do you? Well, for me, she's just a mange-infected rabid one.
Yes, she is. And of course, comes from a really rich family. Again, like Tucker with an F. Carlson.
Yes.
They're wealthy people.
But warped. Wealthy but warped. Mentally debauched. Yeah. Anyway, but, you know, that's where we are, isn't it? With
Marjorie Trader Green. I think Lady G, that works.
Yeah, that does. I don't want to insult dingoes.
I don't know. The wildlife I've seen out here today is kind of the Repugly Ugly Party. I've got the wild turkeys out here running behind them, and then the badger going across the road.
Yeah, I mean, they are flapping. You know, either way, this raid, the GOP are flapping, and they're trying to spin it. And they just really they can't. It's just too high level. So this is coming from Sharon Donnelly. So, and I've really trimmed it down to its essential elements. But so, what was Donald's motivation for withholding the top secret documents? And then she went on to ask, could they be related to Russia's invasion of Ukraine or even China-Taiwan concerns? But let's focus on that. What was Donald's motivations for withholding these top secret documents? Before we even pull, ladies, what are your opinions on that? What are your instincts before we pull?
Oh, yes. Well, like I said, I think someone else did the engineering of what and why, you know. Oh, what was his motivation?
I mean, my instincts are, I had a download, which is that it was all going to be used either to sell or blackmail extraordinaire, where he would go to the point where he'd be like, I've got all these documents, folks, and unless you cancel all of the lawsuits against me, pay all my debts, and reinstate me as president, I'm going to let rip with all of this stuff and America will be ruined. You know?
I think you've just channeled him.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. He's that outrageous. All right. What was his intention? Having these documents.
What was his intention?
I mean, talk about Uranian shock and surprises, isn't it? I mean,
yes,
documents are so sensitive that they should never even have left the White House. They can't even be described. Ooh. Ooh. Mm.
Oh, okay.
Well, well.
What was the Yeti's intention?
Not good.
Are you ready to go?
It's not sterling.
Say again?
Let's say it's not sterling.
No.
It's not sterling. Well, sorry, what does that mean? Am I missing something?
It's not good intentions.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So who's ready to go? Lady G? Yep.
Lady
go
G?
for it.
Yep.
G.
I'm ready. In the center of it, you know, he feels beleaguered. He's always the poor little victim that's got to fight his way. Above it, yeah, you could use it to become flush. Okay, look what I've got.
Wow.
Nobody else has got it. Underneath it, foundation is looking for offers.
Yeah.
Looking for offers. Going into it, of course, it's his abusive thing, and I'll get even with you.
Yeah.
So he's going to get even with America for what they've done. This is a world thing. He could use it to get out of trouble. He thinks that he's going to be able to find some way to use these for his advantage.
Refuge.
Of him going forward, and I've got the sword. I've got the information. I've got the goods. I'm the big man. And of course, dark money. Dark money. Action with dark money.
Yeah.
So yeah, not sterling.
Not sterling, that's right.
Wow.
And I got thinking about how to make money because I was president of the United States, you know, still am, you know, in his own head. You know, how can I make money? Always on the grift. He is happy to be a burden. It actually makes him happy to have the power to threaten people in itself, regardless of how that unfolds. That's how he gets his jollies. And then I move to the other deck, which is also to keep himself out of prison.
Exactly. And we all remember that sterling call, the call that he made to Ukraine. That was the perfect call.
Perfect.
trying to get them to do goods on manufacture something on Biden.
Yeah.
It's astonishing, isn't it? It's just absolutely astonishing. This person, like I say, you know, dark l'orange. It honestly, and it's not a compliment to him, but it's just a statement of fact. He is the biggest grifter that has ever existed in the history of man. I don't even know what Jesus would do with this guy, even the devil. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just like
He's giving him a one-way ticket.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just like he could lie his way out of hell. I think he literally could. It's just astonishing. But look at the cards that I've got here for Duck L'Orange. The Empress, which is my card for Russia. Russia. So if there's anyone that he looks up to, we know it is a certain Vladimir Putinska, and secret telephone calls and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, you can imagine. But here we are. This is one of the grand architects behind all of this. And look, in terms of the obstacle position, but look, it's the 9 of Cups. Yeah, but really, this is one of the wish fulfillment cards, the smug merchant. So you can see here, it was all about the trading, the secrets and whatnot. Look, when the government and when the FBI come and raid your house for stuff, remember he was subpoenaed. It's for a serious reason. We may not even fully yet realize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just how much he may have compromised the United States. He may have been willing to actually been on the cusp of divulging these secrets. And when I looked at the transits at the time, I think I've got an idea of who the enemy in the camp may have been. Yeah, but I'll save that to the end.
Oh yes.
We look here. Look, legal stuff. Yeah, he knew the legalities around these documents. All of this kind of like, oh, I declassified them as soon as I left. It's a total load of BS. Yeah, because exactly, it's like. Look, he may as well literally have taken my wand or something like that.
That's right. Declassify.
Abracadabra. Yeah? I mean, what foolishness. And then you've got these douchebags on the right, coming out with this stuff, trying to defend the utterly indefensible, the literal betrayal of their own country. They need to do it anyway. I don't want to get too carried away. Look at the next card. 10 of Swords, betrayal, backstabbing. This is literally the betrayal and backstabbing of America and even all of those people that support him and stuff like that. It's like he doesn't give a damn about you. It's a cult. It's a cult. It's a cult.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. This is what Duck L'Orange thinks about those people that support him.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly what he thinks about America as well. He has sold trade secrets like lollipops, guys. You wait till it all comes out.
Yeah.
And then here we've got and that was the 10 of Swords, and then we've got the Hangman here as the outcome. So what does this mean? Quite literally, everyone is now getting a change of perspective. It's only now going to be the most rabid of the rabid that are going to be able to hold on to this Messiah concept that they have about Duck L'Orange. I mean, look, they've already gone off the deep end already. But look, obviously Tucker Carlson's going to keep beating his drum, but there will be a lot of disquiet because once they realize those, what they call it, SIC, S-I-C, top-level documents, which can only be read within a secure environment in certain and now they're trying to anyway. That's my thing. Ladies, what else do you have to that?
In answer to your question, I don't even know what Jesus would do. Someone has put here, Glenna, thank you. He might have to smite him. As kids, we all wondered what smiting involved, but it isn't good.
I mean, I certainly hope so, because this is just... It's so extraordinary. Even, like how I've been going on and on and on about this Uranian combination. You remember, Uranus, Rahu, Mars. And I said it will be crazy. Things we can't even anticipate. And my goodness, the planets have really delivered, haven't they? Because this is a week out of, it's historical.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll cross that one off. So next one, this is coming from Judy H. Very interesting one. What are what repercussions will arrive both nationally and internationally, for Trump possessing these documents after leaving the White House.
Okay, so
And we are at over 1,400 now as well. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you so much. And as you're shuffling, ladies, I'm going to click up some of the comments. Let's see here.
So consequences of. Basically.
Yeah, consequences. Someone's asking me, how can I keep up? With lots of coffee.
Consequences for all this.
Just take care of inflation. Let's see here. Fuel expense crisis, especially hitting elderly and those on fixed incomes. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Liz Byrne. So as the ladies shuffle here in the UK, I mean, it's literally the red light is flashing while the Tories, of course, twiddle with their beauty pageant. And it's extraordinary. We're going to see a lot of sad things in the UK, unfortunately. So what are the repercussions that will arrive both nationally and internationally for Trump possessing these documents? These are consequences. Got something juicy, Lena?
I think so. Shall I kick off?
Go for it.
All right. The first few cards are spelling out the story. He's already offered some of them. This is not new, and I think this is right through his time and probably brokered by Jared, allegedly, but not surprisingly. So taking it to the highest bidder, right? Keep holding some back, which is what they collected, you know. There's immense confusion about how to go forward with this. What do you do with a rogue president? You know, like, you know, for some it's nothing's enough and others don't want him touched and everything about everything, but there is confusion about that. Russia was one of the destinations here with the Empress. Now, the question, what's going to transpire? Here comes the Hierophant riding into town. So there will be legal repercussions, not only legal, this is about government, and it's going to change the way we think about governments and the head of governments in the future, particularly in the US. I think it's really, really that big. Wow. Conversations are being had about that. And the final card, he might be declared an enemy of the state. This is the enemy card. It could be that dramatic.
Wow. I mean, even though we've spoken about it, but wow. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, mine starts off with the national. We have him as wanting to be great leader again, but this is his demise from ever running for the White House again. So he's done with politics, that's it. But going into it, we have holdings by his family. So I'm wondering if either, you know, Ivanka, Jared, or, you know, Ivana may be holding something. Yeah, so we have that. And because we're looking at more things coming out about the past. So there's something still there that hasn't come out. There's more investigations into little Donnie Dark and his brood of vipers. And then the last thing we have is trying to move forward. You know, the unhappiness, I think this has to do with the MAGA and other people talking about this administration and the Republic-Uglies and where it's gone. So I think that that's what's going to be coming up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone, Zendel, is just also talking about the Russian shooting at the largest nuclear energy site in Europe, because Uranus can also deal with nuclear energy as well as Pluto, and they're squaring each other. They actually come into Uranus will exactly square Saturn, which deals with all things government, distribution systems, all that kind of stuff, sometime in September. I forget when. So as above, so below, literally the astrology is also playing out here on planet Earth as well. So, but again, I'll go into some of those details. So what do I have here? So, oh my God, I've forgotten the question, because what the repercussions, isn't it? The
national and international repercussions.
Indeed. So straight off the bat, and we've got over 1,500 now. Thank you guys for joining us. It's amazing. We've got here the King of Cups. King of Cups. All right. So what does that mean in terms of an international kind of thing? I think this has quite literally stirred up a lot. I mean, this can mean like Biden, as many of us has pulled. But when we're looking at this, I think this is maybe how the world is feeling about what they see happening in America. Yeah. And I think it's stirring a lot of emotions for people. This is, every country has its allies and its enemies and stuff like that. But whichever way you look at it, I think this is deeply unsettling for the whole world. What is happening in America? Because let's not forget, I mean, not that anyone needs reminding, but there is we know America's not perfect. No country is perfect. Britain's certainly not perfect. Look at the douchebaggery that's been going on here in my own country. But there is still this notion of America representing something, an ideal.
Yeah, that's also my card I use for democracy, Democrats and democracy as well. Yeah.
So here, I think the world is just doubting a lot of stuff. It's very disturbing seeing what we're seeing over since Trump came to power, basically, and whatever's happened now doesn't help. Here, I've got the 8 of Wands coming.
We haven't heard the last of it.
Yeah, we have not heard the last of it. There's going to be some stuff coming on the back of this, so get ready. The roller coaster ride is not over. And also as well, let's not forget too, on the 25th of October, we're going to have the solar eclipse in the sign of Libra, which deals with legalities of all kinds, international trade agreements, those relationships. And it can also affect the health as well of leaders and stuff like that. Wow, 1,600 just went into.
Awesome.
Of people. Look at the next card, the Devil.
It's a great card.
I know. Look at the imagery on here, but this has opened a can of worms, because you'll see when I talk about Trump's chart, but there's a big international element here, and we could find out stuff that America may have had certain classified stuff on people, certain things. So there could be real repercussions that could affect America's reputation going forward. Also as well, if we look here as well, it's look, we've got the hostess with the mostess. Yeah. We're going to see as well how much money has infiltrated everything, how effective bribes have been. Also as well, this card, when you're doing personal readings for people, this can be quite a positive card, can show someone who's financially secure, but this can also mean a card of prostitution as well. Yeah. And really, when you think of Duc Larange, you don't get any prozzies bigger than that. I mean, he's basically the you-know-what of Babylon. Yeah. He really is. He really is. Horror Babylon. I'm sorry. It really is. Yeah. And then here, if we look at the outcome card, we've got the 6 of Cups here. So there will be almost, well, we've seen it already, but there's really going to be a huge longing, almost not only in America, but for everyone, for easier times, more innocent times. Yeah. I mean, I used to remember, do you remember when like celebrity marriages were a big deal? And
yes,
would make
news. Is J-Lo going to have another baby? This was international stuff.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. Do you remember how much a movie made? So people almost like, oh my goodness. So there's a longing for nostalgia. One of my personal things, and I'm just going to share this with you guys before we go on to the next thing. And I've always believed this. I personally believe the apotheosis of modern day America was 1992, when Whitney Houston Whitney Houston sang the Star Spangled Banner at that football match. Do you remember? I think that was the absolute orgasm of America at that time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's been downhill ever since.
But never mind. But remember, the bill was passed.
Absolutely.
But you know
and
what? And
Obama being elected.
Yeah.
You know, the best of, let alone twice.
Yeah. So we're all. I think we're all feeling nostalgic for more innocent times. Okay, so this question's coming from Clyde Terry, and they've asked, can we look at the GA case, the Georgia case? What will be the bottom line with that? And I've put here in brackets the outcome they likely, that is, what would be the outcome? That's probably what they mean by that. So
sorry, just clarify that for me, the outcome of the next election or the inquiry?
The inquiry in Georgia, you know, there's
Fannie Willis doing the inquiry in Georgia. What will be the outcome of that? Yeah,
indeed. Yeah, they didn't specify, but we can interpret. That's what they.
And
meant.
Sharon said, "Go Whitney," and she didn't have a wardrobe malfunction. Absolutely, bless.
I just think it was, I just think it was just one of those really just sensational in terms of America's idea, its projection of itself onto the world. Do you know what I mean? When it felt true. Yeah. Okay.
So Georgia, we're off to
Georgia. What's the outcome there with Georgia?
Fannie Willis's inquiry in Georgia.
And then to close the show, I'll discuss some of the planetary transits that happened while the search was taking place. Yeah. And you guys will not believe it. You'll be like, oh my God.
So just so you know, for future reference, guys, the questions, do they go on your community page during the week?
Yeah. That's the best place, because then I can see them all in one place.
Yes.
Sometimes people drop comments during videos or after videos, but I get hundreds of comments, so it's not the best way for me to see your questions. But when you drop them in the community section, that's one of the best places. And we're at over 1,600 tonight. Amazing.
Oh, goodness. That's awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate the support, guys, and bringing you, of course, our content as best we can. Okay, who's ready to pull?
Lady G.
Sure.
Go for it, Lady G.
In the center of it, we have, the ever evil 45. Just give me, all I need is, his fishtails. And this is going to put an end to him. Again, another thing, because going into it, we have the burden and they're coming after him. Snake. And the path of all those others that were following him, like Lady Graham over there, the diva of the South, and the other ones that were trying to lean on Georgia. And the dark money, the ones that were involved with it, there's going to be more talking out, more people coming forward. And this is the end of 45 in the Republic Uglies. It's going to shed more light on all the dirty deeds that they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And Jackie Hathaway has just said, I hear Trump threaten Garland for entertainment purposes only.
And someone else said, can this be confirmed, please, in the chat? The Yeti's lawyers have told him not to make other threats about Garland and stuff, because they must know it's going in a particular direction. So to dial back the threats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
do you have, Lena?
Thanks to Fannie Willis, this is a well thought out legal strategy that she is embarking upon. It's very measured. she feels that she's got them surrounded with the legal swords, right? And here she is intending to put yet another sword into the, because Georgia, for whatever reason, has been the site of so many things happening legally that's a microcosm of the US stuff, you know, with the phone calls, etc., etc. So I think she feels she has enough to really put the last sword in. And the angel of temperance, grace, and mercy. Oh,
So she's going to do it with a smile.
I think so. And her little angel wings flapping. Oh,
Wow.
I
But isn't
hope
it
that's
interesting?
right.
Indeed. And isn't it interesting how many times the 10 of swords has come up for all us all? I think
End
that
of
was
a cycle, end of a
Right,
cycle,
and
end of a cycle. They've been going crazy, unchecked for so long, and we're finally getting tens.
Yep.
Yeah. Fascinating. Lady G, what do you have for us?
I started out.
She's gone.
Oh my God. I always do this. I watch.
That's because we trick you and we change our order.
No, honestly, I remember it now, and I'm just like, of course she just bloody went, you fool. Sorry. One of these things is sometimes I stay up too late putting all this kind of stuff together. Anyway, so I'll do my quick reading and then I'll show you the transits that happen. So here, let's just look. She's been patient. Yeah, it's been, you know, for us it feels like it's been a long time, hasn't it? But in many ways,
in legal land, it's not.
Yeah, legal land, it does take a while. But look, she's been putting her ducks in a row. But also as well, this speaks about the mercenaries too, doesn't it? Those people that have all been like trying to put forward those fake kind of you-know-whats. Oh my goodness, 1,700 people now. This is incredible. So in a combination, this is showing her patience, her diligence, her determination to be steadfast in her goal. But it also talks about the mercenaries that kind of helped out with this whole thing. Look here, heartbreak for someone. Oh dear, Duck Larange, Duck Larange. I always said, you know, he would end up like when I first tuned in with him, I saw, you know, those pink fluffy slippers that you see of rabbits? Yes. And I just saw it chewed up by the dog and peed up by the cat. That's what I've always seen, you know, when, you know, and it's all crusty and horrible. And oh, wait, oh, look at that. Yeah. I've always seen that. And then I had that dream on the 22nd of June where I saw Mar-a-Lago collapsing. Do you remember I was talking about the dream? Like an earthquake. I saw both the women, so I realized who the brunette was. Of course, it was Cassidy. And then the blonde, it turned out to be Sarah Matthews.
Yeah.
The house also represents the mother, the fourth house. Collapsing, Ivana died, and now the raid. So this Georgia thing is just more pain on top of pain. What is it about? If we look, it's about what? The Trump family, the Trump sense of security. Look, this often can represent the White House, can't it? The Four of Wands. If we look here, 10 of Wands. Yeah. Oh dear, someone's feeling burdened and depressed. I mean, I don't know. They say Trump doesn't drink, but he must certainly do drugs. He must be on, I don't know. Think of some kind of stimulant drug that they have in America. What I mean, I don't know.
Adderall. Hello.
Something like that. So here he is, feeling burdened and depressed, and the juggling. Yeah, he's in the fight of his life. Yeah, but also as well, this also shows how she's been moving a lot of things behind the scenes, balancing things, negotiating, doing all of the legal, whatever she needs to do to get the job done. All right. Anything else, ladies, to add to that before I talk about some transits to end the show?
Yeah, no, tell us about the transits.
Absolutely. Right. He's going down. How many ways can we say?
I know. Like, I've got to stick to the side and try and get me little...
It's just which one is going to come through first.
Right. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll move this. You'll just hear my voice, but here's and you'll see the wand. All right. This is really interesting. I made some notes on this. Right. What was happening? So they said, let me get in. They said that he was raided around about 5:30 or something like that on Monday, the 8th of August. Yeah, that's what I heard on one of the things. So I was like, all right, let me just use that, cast the chart and see what was going on. Now, the moon for Duck Larange, this is Duck Larange's chart. This is where the planets were sidereally at the time of the raid. The moon, which is a cray-cray moon in his chart, is this moon is absolutely batshit. It's one of the worst you can get. Anyway, except that it's in an angle, so it helps him with real estate. The moon at that time was moving through the sign of Sagittarius. And it was also the rising sign, that the sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at the time of the raid. What is Sagittarius all about? Rising sign. So, and it was in his 5th house, which deals with intelligence and giving advice and consultation to others and politics. Yeah, intelligence, politics, and giving consultation and advice to others. Sagittarius was rising at that time, and it deals with the law and the search for truth. And it was in the nakshatra, which is called Mula, which means to tear up by the roots, and the destructions of illusions by the goddess Nariti, which is also known as Kali. So literally, while his place was being there,
we were both doing our Kali impersonations.
Exactly. So what does Kali do? She comes in and she destroys the illusions and the delusions of the world. It is a very, very powerful but unsettling nakshatra. So his place is being searched. The moon, like I said, a terrible planet for Trump, also in Mula, yeah, with the goddess Kali, and almost exactly full. So this was a day before the full moon, day or two before the full moon. So it's basically full. So this means it means bringing something to fruition. The full moon brings things to fruition and illuminates prior plans. So it emerged that Trump had been subpoenaed back in June and given multiple chances to return the documents, and the moon has revealed all. Yeah, so in many ways, the full moon brought the fruition of the DOJ's plans to reality. Isn't that fascinating? Saturn is retrograde, planet of karma and government. So it means to review and revise things. And it deals with unpaid karmas, with Pluto, planet of corruption, fascism, and all the 8th house meaning, including intrigues, hidden things, and espionage, has all been squared by the Uranus, Mars, Rahu combination. So all of that coming out. That's what's literally, this is where these planets were. Then we had Neptune, and we have Neptune and Jupiter in his 8th house of secrets, scandals, espionage, shame, disgrace, and bankruptcy.
Oh,
Yeah, those two planets are there right now. Neptune is secrets, lies, all of that stuff. So there's that. And then this Rahu, Uranus, Mars conjunction, which is now, Mars is now over here in Trump's 10th house. But at the time it was in the 9th house. What's the 9th house? The law, lawmakers, truth, all of that stuff. But also as well, it deals with foreign lands, travel, foreigners. Do you remember some of the documents that they pulled were talking about President Macron? Imagine what else is in there about foreign leaders. Maybe a little bit of Putanesca, perhaps. Then what happens is Mars is then it's now in his 10th house. But anyway, what I put here, Mars is now in Trump's 10th house. So it's the house of reputation and career on the global stage. Mars is the planet of war. So causing an almighty fight for his political career, Mars will be there for 8 months.
Ooh.
Yeah, Mars this year. I mean, it's going to dip into a bit of Gemini, which will affect probably Kamala Harris, and it's also going to affect Biden a bit as well. But I'll do videos to detail that. But for Trump, he is literally going to have to fight like hell for his career and his reputation. But the most juicy part, Sun and Venus are currently in the sign of Cancer, sidereal Cancer. But this is Trump's 12th house. Yeah, what does that mean? So Sun and Venus in the 12th, illuminating secrets, but also hidden enemies. The 12th house deals with endings, losses, deals with secrets, scandals, bed pleasures sometimes, and it can have a spiritual side. But Venus is here. Venus is the planet of relationships, but also women. I think the secret enemy was a woman. That's what I think, because Venus is actually here in his 12th house right now, back with herself and with natal Saturn and Pluto, which is all about intrigues. And this is the sun, like the sun card, illuminating everything. So we're going to learn all about Trump's secrets. It also deals with foreign lands, all of his stuff, that the dodgy dealings, the bed pleasures, everything he's done under the rug. And to top it all off, Mercury at that time, I think it's still here now, Mercury was passing through his first house, which deals with the body. Yeah, him. Mercury is what? The planet of media and communications. It was passing through his first house right now. So do you see how all of that has happened? So I thought you guys would find that interesting.
Thank you for that.
No problem. No problem. Well, the time has flown, everyone. We are 6 minutes over the hour. So, of course, it's time to close the show. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. It got
Thank you, guys. Yeah. Wow.
End, which is amazing. That's incredible. Thank you for the donations as well. And, of course, Lady G, thank you for your great gifts and talents. And, of course, Lena, for being here on your Australian Sunday morning. She had a tough night, guys, but we won't go into it. She was out late. She was out late. So we will join you next week, of course, as well. Oh, and just to answer some questions, some people have been asking, is Diane returning to the show? She will come back to the show when she feels ready. She's working on her creative projects. Remember, she's got an YouTube agent as well, as we all know. So it's open.
She'll be back.
Exactly. And we're all independent here. Everyone's free to do whatever they want on YouTube, which is the great glory of it. So we will leave it there. Thank you guys for joining us, and you will see us next week. All right. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.